Hi everyone, today I'm going to be walking from Filey Brigg all the way through to Scarborough. I'll be stopping at Cayton Bay along the way. So this is a route I've always wanted to take. It's very tricky finding a day with hardly any wind on the Yorkshire coast, but today's delivered. Nice weather, sun's going to come through soon, and I think it said it was about 6-7 miles an hour wind, so that's pretty much nothing here. That sundial back there marks the end point of the Wolds Way and the Cleveland Way. This is the route that we'll be taking today, which is essentially the beginning and end of the Cleveland Way, whichever way you want to look at it. It's about 11 miles is the route, so I think roughly it said about 4 hours, probably 4.5, because I'm going to be stopping for a swim at Cayton Bay, try and source some food. Beautiful day for it, and let's get going. I'd massively appreciate it if you could like and subscribe. I've got some pretty big trips coming up abroad, which is a first for me. Really excited about it as well, so it'd be great to have you along for the ride. So straight off the bat, we can see our destination in the distance. It looks like a mirage at this point, but there you can see the top of Scarborough Castle over there, and there's Scarborough South Bay, and Cayton Bay is just tucked in here, and that'll be our first stop along the way. But it'll be about 1.5 to 2 hours before we get there, so I'll put a bit of a pace on. So I've been going about 10-15 minutes now. Not much to report along the way, it's kind of just all fields. Obviously Scarborough's become a little bit clearer in the distance over there. Sun is shining on Scarbados. I suddenly had, along this walk, a memory of when I went to Filey as a kid. My friend would always say to me, like, when we were approaching, you know that we wouldn't be far away from Filey when we started seeing the red roof slate tiles. And that always stuck with me. Whenever I come to Filey now, I always look out for the rooftops, and it's true, once you start seeing those red slates, you know that you're not that far away. We've just come to our first sort of checkpoint, left Filey, we're now in Newbiggin. The sun has arrived. So I think growing up in the UK, everyone has fond memories of a specific seaside town. I was quite fortunate enough to have two growing up, because my dad's mum and dad always used to take us out to Morecambe and Heysham out on that west coast. And I love coming out to Filey, that was my favourite place. My wife's favourite place growing up was Cayton Bay, the next place we're going to visit now. I hadn't actually been there until about 4 years ago when we went, and I think we've been every year since. It's an amazing beach. Yeah, and she had fond memories of holiday parks there. I wish she could be here today, but work. And yeah, I think out of the three places, Filey, Cayton Bay and Scarborough, Cayton Bay always seems to have the best water quality. It always seems to be excellent there, whereas it's good at Filey and fair at Scarborough. It tends to be the norm. So there is one of the aforementioned holiday parks. There's quite a lot of them that dot along this coastline. It was almost a rite of passage growing up in my area, going on holiday and staying in a caravan. So the next bay along is Cayton Bay. Maybe like 20 minutes or so, should be around at that section. But yeah, look at the colour of that water. This stretch of coastline is genuinely one of the best places in the UK, in my opinion. Definitely recommend you come visit if you come into the UK. So there she is, Cayton Bay in all her splendour. See how the wind has formed this, blowing it right across. Oh, I'm so excited to get down there and have a swim. So just coming into the bay now, the entrance to the bay. Over there you can see the holiday park. That's actually the one that my wife went to when she was very little. And yeah, I'm gonna head down and have a swim. So this is the walk down to Cayton Bay. It may be fun coming down, but once you've had a long day at the beach, it's a pretty steep climb on the way up. You feel it on the way up, that's for sure. So as you can see, we're much closer to Scarborough Castle, which is just over there. And then once I've had a dip here, we'll carry on along the walk along the top there, right round to South Bay of Scarborough. It is time. That is Baltic. Can't beat that feeling. And that's Scarborough. And way over there is Filey. Fuck. What a rush. Yeah, that felt amazing. Got a nice second wind for the second part of the walk now. But yeah, starting to get peckish, so I know there's a little snack bar up here, further up the bay, so I'm going to go see if I can get anything from there. And then I'll go back up to the top, rejoin the Cleveland Way, and head on to Scarborough. So yeah, just going to head up to that snack bar, just up there. So there was a little cafe bar called the Salty Dog, and I had a sausage sandwich and a tea from there. So yeah, just heading back up to the path now, Cleveland Way. Keep putting my camera back in my bag because it needs to try and charge the battery, but this walk is just stunning. I think this is the nicest stretch of the walk so far. Like leaving Cayton Bay and heading towards Scarborough, it's just stunning. I think it helps with the time of year. It's mid-April. So I was there thinking the elevation hasn't been so bad on this walk. It's been pretty generous. That was until I saw this. It's all good training. Yeah, this is definitely the toughest stretch of the walk so far. It very quickly went being the most peaceful and tranquil bit. to the toughest. Whew. Almost there though. So we've reached Osgodby, and it looks a really nice little village, really peaceful, some nice houses. So yeah, I just got to the top of those stairs and came out onto this pavement here. So I'm on the lookout for one of those acorns that symbolises the Cleveland Way. And then, yeah, I guess we'll reconnect with the coastal path. 3 miles, although I'm not sure if our path will be much longer. So I had a quick look, and apparently there's one of these streets down here that we'll turn down, and eventually it'll link back up with the Cleveland Way path. There it is. So I was thinking about maybe trying to squeeze in a bit more filming and do a tour of Scarborough when I get there, but to be honest, Scarborough's a bit of a different beast compared to the other places we've visited so far. So to do it justice, I feel like I need a lot more time there. So yeah, I think I'll just focus on getting to Scarborough today. I think I'll finish up at the Grand Hotel, which has a lot of interesting history. Apparently, and there's numerous reports of this, Adolf Hitler wanted to make that his base. Thankfully that never happened, and it'd be interesting to know if he'd want to make the same place his base in the current era, because let's just say it's maybe not as grand as it once was. I mean, don't get me wrong, on the outside the building looks spectacular as it ever did, the architecture's phenomenal, but let's just say TripAdvisor has not been kind in recent years. It's a shame because it's an amazing building. It just needs some investment, the right owners to come in and put some money into it, because it could be amazing. I think there's enough videos been made about the interior of that building, but yeah, I think that's where I'll finish today. Have a bit of a marvel at the exterior of the building, and then, like I say, I'll come back another day and give Scarborough the full day it deserves. April is my wife's favourite month of the year, and she has good taste because it is a wonderful month. Fresh out of winter, lots to look forward to. And this stretch here is really reminiscent of the top of Filey Brigg. That's a scenic golf course. But it's tricky most days when there's a wind blowing, but I have literally no interest in golf, but it'd be appealing playing there, I'm sure. It looks really close now compared to where we were this morning. Over yonder somewhere. But yeah, you can see the pavilions down there, which I think we walk in past. And then that building there is the Grand Hotel I was talking about earlier. See the wheel, Scarborough Castle. Yeah, we've had a bit of an unusual sunny, dry spell, which has lasted like a week and a half. It's probably like the first sunshine we've had, definitely like prolonged since, I don't even know if we had it last year. The summer was terrible last year. But yeah, tomorrow and Saturday are going to be the best days yet. We're going to have up to about 18 degrees, and then I think it changes again on Sunday. So it's been really nice whilst it's lasted though. I think I spent all winter dreaming of a weather day like this to film a coastal visit, and today has just delivered. So thank you to the weather gods. Chalets up there. One thing I really like about Scarborough is all these little mazes of paths that are dotted all over the coastline, especially on the South Bay. And there's some on the north as well, but yeah, the ones on the South Bay are amongst the trees, and yeah, even on the busiest of days you can still find little places that are nice and quiet. I'm just going up here. I could have carried on along past the spa down there, but like I said, I'm going to leave that for another day. There's a really nice walk that drops you into where the hotel, the Grand Hotel is. So I'm going to take that. I just have to get up here, one more set of stairs, and then I'll walk down across the bridge and finish up there. The Esplanade, that's the word I was looking for. It's a very exotic word for a Yorkshireman. Esplanade. Like that bench, for example. Love a little quiet spot. Almost at the top now. You can get the tram down to the beach there. I don't know if it's working at the moment. That's the famous Scarborough Spa down there. I'll go into that in more detail, like I say, when I next visit. But yeah, there's a lot of history in there. Still being used today as well. So Meg and I stayed at that hotel on one of our first trips away. Amazingly, it was about 10 years ago, which is terrifying to think about. I remember it being a really nice stay, but I have a very strong recollection of being woken at 3 a.m. to Darude sandstorm. Things like that stay with you. And there we have the South Bay of Scarborough. And that right ahead is the Grand Hotel. Final stop, Grand Hotel, and we made it. So what did I think of the walk? Honestly, one of the best I've ever done. It's getting to the point where I'm saying this every week, but I think I've just been really lucky with the times that I've gone. I tend to get up really early and do the walks quite early on, so everything's quite quiet. Weather's been a massive bonus. One thing I noticed is that I believe the direction that I did the walk in, Filey to Scarborough, I think that is a little bit easier than the other way. I think there's a few more steep inclines on the Cleveland Way from Scarborough to Filey. But even so, I'd love to do it again. I didn't find the route that I took particularly challenging other than one or two bits, but they were quite short, they weren't prolonged or anything. If you enjoyed it, I'd massively appreciate it if you can like and subscribe. I'm going to have more videos coming up like this. There's a lot more other walks similar that I want to do. I'll be going to Italy soon to do the Cinque Terre, a walk I've wanted to do for a long time. But yeah, massively appreciate watching and see you next week.